Capricorn, welcome back for your Venus retrograde. Now, this is your energy update, both astrologically and psychically. And those of you who are just connecting on this video after the fact of the upload, stick around to listen to the end, because 9 times out of 10 I answer questions to anyone in the house, and sometimes I give live readings, you know, so you can see how I work. It's a good way to test a medium, right? So stick around, feel free to comment, and we will tune into what is going on with your zodiac sign. Now, you guys are pretty unique, and you've probably been a hell and back in the last 2.5 years, but more from a transformative trend, because we're moving not only through Venus retrograde, but also in the energy of the nodal energy kind of cycling out in May, when officially Venus does go into retrograde. Now, the retrograde cycle, we're in the shadow at the moment, and I'm recording this in April. We're also moving more so into the energy of it retrograding from the 13th of May to the 25th of June. So for your sign, it happens to land in your 6th house, which is your career sector, which is unique because, you know, when we look at Venus, it links in both at a romantic level, a financial level, a style level, some of the ways in which we're showing ourselves to the world and our value systems we hold, they can shift. And definitely with the trends of what's coming through the astrology at the moment, you know, what you're liking now, at the end of it will be very different. So it sort of is acting a lot like Mercury retrograde, because it is in the sign of a Mercury energy. So the key to it is, you know, when we look at Mercury, it's our day-to-day movement, it's our communication style. At the moment, a lot of us are using technology. It's movement, travel, lots of things. Let's get into the read. Now, I will be pulling cards through this and tapping in energetically, as well as talking about some of the energies that can be shaping and transforming this Venus cycle. So yes, we'll be looking at romance, finances, career, and definitely with yours, it's hitting in your career sector. Now, it can be that you actually do meet someone through work, some of you. It also can be the frequency of work and love kind of not matching in the past, or moving towards really being non-fixated potentially on certain things, but more so in other areas. And definitely with the balance that you have been going through for 2.5 years, it really has shaped and transformed your life. So you may have been really focusing on, especially with Saturn retrograde currently in your 2nd house, you know, really looking at maybe upgrading some of the things that you have, wanting land, wanting assets. Those things that potentially do come up again, it's value systems, and it links into romance energy of the Venus energy. But it's looking at that and assessing it. So we are going to be having Saturn in Aquarius in 2021. So some themes will be coming through at the moment for you. So you'll pick up kind of hunches that you're feeling are coming up around this time. And it is for the next 3-4 months. So it gives you a rough idea of maybe some of the things for you at a personal level that are coming up, not necessarily at a hermit level, but very much of what these new trends, these new likes are. Maybe where you have been off track with your nav man and suddenly you feel you want to do a 360 and go in a different direction. Use the energy at the moment to meditate upon it and to gain the download, so to speak, and document, especially with the energy of Gemini. What you tend to get is a lot of overwhelmed energy, a lot of he said, she said energy. That's why, especially on the media at the moment, we're very cautious about what we listen to, but it can be overwhelming with the amount of information coming to us. So, you know, when you're tuning into how you feel about things, if you're getting these miraculous ideas, it's very Mercury energy, jot them down. It's a great time to journal and jot down the things that the plans or the ideas that are coming to mind during this time, especially at a very Mercury energy. But be careful about who you're telling. And you may, you know, although many people who follow the Twin Flame Collective, I'm a Twin Flame reader as well, but more from a spiritual, holistic perspective now. I am in union. With the Gemini energy, it is not codependent. So it's a very independent energy. Really, to move into the vibration of getting into alignment and coming into union, you do need to be quite independent and in your own vibration. So when we say union, it tends to come from self, and that's with anything. Your foundation, you have Aries and Chiron. And again, we did launch in March the new moon in Aries. And the reason I'm mentioning that and how it's directly linking in is because there have been a lot of Mars aspects playing out. So whenever that occurs, because we have the Aries and Chiron related dynamic, things that are playing out on the home front. So let's elaborate. So it's a psychological foundation, domestic issues, endings, and parent, but it is linking into home. So if there have been things that you've been doing at home, and if you're in hermit mode at home, these things can be coming up and it can be frustrating you. You may feel very suppressed, or there could have been someone in the environment that you didn't want there, and now, you know, you're needing to really look at that. You might have delayed it and now it's really coming to the forefront. That energy will be there due to the past, so it doesn't even have to be playing out right now. There may have been changes, chops, movement, instability. No sooner did you balance it and you were trying to find what that home environment was. It could be with a romantic partner. It could be with your friendship groups, your employment group. You know, it's all of those from where we work from. Now, the shadow sign for you is Cancer. So you will tend to find that when you're triggered, you know, you seek that tribe, and it's deeply important. So fourth house has really showed you how far you've come. It's also showed you who's there for you and who's not. And so, you know, we don't need to create walls to actually balance that. But now with that power and that understanding that you have formed in you with Aries and Chiron, and dealing with your romantic partnership energy of, be it you do or you choose not to, you know, however it goes, you will be utilizing that memory system and that pain body experience not to disable you, but to enable you to achieve magnificent things. So it's not, it can come up in a trigger point, especially during Venus retrograde, because of all the Mars aspects that's going on. But at the same time, it's trying to turn over a new leaf. So the reason I mentioned the new moon in Aries is because it was asking us, knowing that you hold wounds in that area, turning over that new leaf, taking that power and actually creating a new recipe. So we currently have Mercury in Aries. Now, again, it's in the wound house for you guys. So it's can be a lot of meditation, looking over old things, looking at, wow, you know, you've learned a lot. Then on the 27th of April, it moves into Taurus. So at a communication level or movement level, you can be, you know, shuffling about, quite busy. Might be you going shopping and doing things to that degree at a very trivial level, but it is an assessment of what you hold as valuable and what you don't. And it can be a very practical time. It can be where shifts occur mid-month, especially since around then we are going to be having Pluto going retrograde, and it is in your asset zone. So let me double check. See, where have I put your chart? I've moved it now. Yeah, especially in your asset chart. So with the second house, you could all of a sudden during Saturn retrograde, it might have been that it can be a time when things can actually start breaking and you need to replace them. But at the same time, it's more a meditation on the white goods, the land, and the things that you're wanting, where you're wanting to shift that energy around. Now, with the fifth house also, it can be expenses occurring connected to children, connected to, hi Doug, yeah, I know, well, everyone's on technology at the moment, so YouTube's experiencing a bit of issues with that. So I'm back, yes. So with the fifth house, again, I did mention in the previous videos, if you are cross-watching for signs, go look at your sign. When we look at Neptune and the Uranian energy in Taurus, the reason I'm mentioning those is because they're making aspects to Venus retrograde. So it can bring surprises, sudden changes in your fifth house. So your fifth house does link into romance, children, and luck. So it's, again, with the Uranian energy, it can be good or bad. So it'll be surprise, it'll be out of nowhere. It is there for a reason, for you to shift your perspective. So there can be pushes and pulls when it comes to sharing your energy as well. And I do feel a lot of people are going to want on you. So it's going to be in need of balancing time. I'm also seeing you psychically really being in your mind at the moment, thinking over things, assessing them. And again, this is blast from the past energy. So I do feel you may have meditated upon people, and I do feel this is more so you're quite mentally looking at the energy of, what does work and what doesn't. Keep an open mind when it comes to your career. Around this time, a dream job can come up. Very ironically, in a strange way. Again, because it is in the energy of your 6th house. But I do feel really trying to find ways in which you can balance your career and your love life. And in the past, you might have found that, in a connection or in your current connection, that balance had been quite challenging, and potentially over the last 2.5 years, because we have had the nodes in your energy. Let's see for the beginning part for Capricorn, what do we have coming through? Okay, mid-cycle of Venus retrograde for Capricorn. Some of you, I'm seeing, you just want to hit the road. You want to be out on the road. You want to have movement. You want to be free. You want to experience more than what you have been experiencing. Now, obviously, we state the obvious as to the reasons why, but it feels more than that. It feels this has been something that's been on your mind for a while. Again, I am feeling some of you could have been upgrading things at home, and this could have been prior to everything occurring. And, fine-tuning that, but it feels all of a sudden the brakes were on, and now you're fixated more, and you're going to become more certain about how you want your life. I also feel an energy of someone coming to you, attempting to negotiate with you, and it's almost like they're trying to change your mind on things. This can be the way the universe is showing situations to you, and it's testing your faith. Or at the same time, it could be somebody is going to come to you during Venus retrograde, and it can feel like they're attempting to manipulate you. But I feel that, again, communication is going to be the key. And the way in which you articulate yourself is going to be important too. I'm also seeing during this Venus retrograde that it's acting polar opposite, and I think it's due to the fact that Neptune's making aspects to it at the beginning side of the shadow energy of it. I do feel as well, because the nodes are shifting in May, and this is where Juno will be going direct. Juno falls in your, let me see where it falls. I'm away from fairies at the moment because I'm tuning psychically and then bouncing back to the 3D. Gotta love it. Okay, 10th house. Okay, so it falls in your 10th house. Same section, career. I just get this feeling that it's almost like while you're busy, while you're thinking on an area, it's either I still feel this negotiation energy. So there feels a lot of negotiation and a nagging situation from the past. And I do feel it feels quite sudden. It almost feels like there may be a situation with a child or children or conversations about that. Or a new beginning in something. But I do feel this push-pull energy, two paths, and almost, similar to a quincunxing energy, which we call that sort of the T-section of the road. And there's left or right. You can't be two people. Very Gemini, right? It's like being too many things. I do feel you're trying to, universe is protecting you, and they're sort of giving you a remote view of a situation. You may have already had it, or during this, the situations around you playing out. And I feel this is midway. Again, I'm feeling two energies around you. Now, this could be family and love. It could be you're in a relationship and family. It feels two energies playing out simultaneously. This is probably why I'm seeing the T-section of the road. I'm really seeing he said, she said energy. And a reassessment of home. And I feel the reassessment of home is it's almost like you need some fresh air. So if you do have a garden, try and walk outside, get grounded, get some fresh air to gain the clarity. Now, the first card you got at the beginning of the cycle of Venus retrograde. So this is all the way from mid-April through May. You have the Six of Wands in reverse. I'm not feeling bad to do with this, though. I almost feel like whatever was delayed in the past, it's going to be a reversal of fortune. So if something didn't go completely correct in the past, it feels a reversal of fortune. But you're very wary about this, and I feel you're guided to be, especially with the Neptunian aspects. It's like you're following your intuition. If someone's saying they've turned over a new leaf, you want them to put their money where their mouth is. So you're not going to jump in the deep end. And that's why I'm saying this Venus retrograde cycle is very unique. Generally, at the beginning, we feel very romanticized by it, and we're really sold on situations. I just don't feel you're working like that, because you've got the enemy card. You don't want to be your worst enemy. You're being very rational with the way you're looking at things, very practical. It could be that people are actually seeking you out around this time as well. But you're very cautious, because I do feel in the past they might have taken from you. So this could be energies of the past coming back to balance things out and correct it. I do feel midway through this, it's going to be very, very serious communication. So it will be, you will be very blunt, very direct, very to the point, very matter of fact. Also, in all your decision making, I feel you will be very on the money. It's like, right, this is how it's going to be. I'm not playing. This is how I see something.